guys, so today I wanted to make kind of a random video. I want to talk about my journey, I guess, from Mormonism to atheism. And I've talked about this in the past, and I used to consider myself agnostic, which is where you pretty much believe in like you don't deny or believe in God, really. You're kind of just neutral. But I've kind of gotten to a point where I kind of just don't think there is a God. Like, I lean more towards atheism, and I just want to talk about it, talk about my beliefs, how I got to this point. From being raised Mormon, I was like raised so Mormon, right? And I don't know, I think I kind of have an interesting story. Maybe there's others out there like me, or if you yourself are kind of struggling with religion or anything, maybe my story can help you. And I don't want my story or this video to like make anyone feel like, oh, there is no God, like don't believe in a God, whatever. Like, I don't want to change your mind or anything. I just want to share my thoughts and experiences. Okay, so if you guys have watched my past videos on being Mormon, you may know that I was raised incredibly Mormon. Like, my morning routine, I always share this because it's like kind of insane to me looking back, but my like Mormon morning routine when I was in high school was crazy. So I had to wake up at like 6 a.m., put on a white shirt and tie, and read these like gospel handbooks with my dad and my brother. And you put on a white shirt and tie because it's like a spiritual thing, like that's what you wear to like church and stuff, right? And then after that, we do that for like a half hour probably, and then I would get ready for school, put on my normal clothes, I would go upstairs, and then we'd have like a family scripture study, and then we would read a section out of this like pamphlet that was for the kids in the church, and it was called For the Strength of Youth. And then we would say a family prayer, and then I would go to school. So it was like overkill the house, okay? And I honestly think that that might be part of the reason that like I started to hate the church. Well, I shouldn't say hate. I started to not really like the church, was because it was so forced upon me, you know? And I don't think that's good for anyone when religion is forced upon them. Growing up, I never had the option to explore religion or my beliefs or spirituality or anything, right? It's just the religion I was born into, and, you know, I feel like that's kind of messed up. When kids are just born into a religion, and just from day one having their parents like telling them that, oh, this is the religion that is true and what we believe in and everyone in your family believes in, and you're kind of just forced and brainwashed into believing it's true, right? Sadly enough, like, well, I don't know, so my siblings, pretty much all my family is still Mormon. I'm one of the only people that has escaped, as I like to say. But like my brother and sister, they're still super Mormon. They both went on missions. I'm the only person in my family who did not go on a Mormon mission, which, if you don't know, is like a 2-year thing that like Mormons do once they turn 18 or 19, where they travel to a different part of the world and try to like convert other people to be Mormon, and it costs like a bunch of money, and it's just a scam. Just kidding. Yeah, I never had the desire to go, and it's funny because I remember talking to like my church leaders about it and telling them I don't really have a desire to go. And for them, it's like a commandment of God that all the men go on a mission. And that's another thing you'll kind of learn the more you dig into the church history, if you want. It's like very sexist, and like they pretty much have the guys like higher than the women, and the guys get like more benefits, and they're seen as like, in a sense, better than the women, which is really messed up to me. desire to go, it never came, and I never felt the Holy Spirit, which is like something that they, pretty much is a big deal in the Mormon church. It's like something that, comes to you when you are looking for answers for your prayers, or in like hard times, the Holy Spirit will like comfort you and blah blah blah. I tried really hard to feel it, and I never felt it, and so that was one reason I did not. I don't believe the church is real. I also went to an all Mormon school when I was in 8th grade called Leona Preparatory Academy. It is in Pleasant Grove, Utah. I think it's still there, and yeah, it was interesting. Like, they had a dress code. You had to wear like collared shirts, and like you had prayer before class and after class and all that. It was really crazy. And I think it was in high school when I started to realize that I was attracted to guys, and like I started to kind of accept it more. I always wanted to be attracted to girls. I tried really hard to. I kissed girls, and like I dated a lot of girls, but it never felt right. And like the first time I kissed a dude, I was like, oh my god, I am gay as hell. And so that was a problem, because in the Mormon church, being gay is considered one of the most serious sins next to murder, which is insane to me. Yeah, and it's still crazy to think that my family believes in it, but whatever. I was honestly really scared leaving the church. I thought that like I was gonna go to hell if I left. That's pretty much what they teach you. I think it's called like apostasy, or someone who like knows the fullness of the church, whatever, but leaves is called an apostate, I believe. And so I think I was like an apostate. That's how I felt. And I was like, I'm gonna go to hell. But yeah, the church, they honestly like brainwash you and make you think that you cannot be happy without the church in your life. And like if you reject the church, you are missing out on like so many things, and it's just wild. Like, there are videos of church leaders saying things like that and just being so manipulative, and it actually scares me. And so yeah, just I think like 3 years ago, something like that, I got my records officially removed, and it was a lot of work. You literally have to like go to this website called quitmormon.com, and it's this guy who's like an attorney, and you cannot just go to the church and be like, I want my records removed. Like, you have to threaten to take legal action and all this stuff before they like will do it. I had to go to the bank and get all my papers notarized. It was crazy. So it just proves even more to me that it is like super culty and stuff. And yeah, like after I left the church, I started, dating guys, and really accepted myself. And there's people out there who will say, oh, like, of course you left the church, like you acted upon your gay feelings and blah blah blah. People say that to me all the time, like religious people. But it's like, for me, my thought is, if there is a God, he would want me to be happy with whoever I feel happy with. God would not want me to like force myself to be married to a woman and have kids and be sad, because I have a friend, one of my best friends, actually like my best friend. She was married in the temple. She's a lesbian. She married a guy, and she has 2 kids, and she's like getting a divorce soon because she's not happy. They're just not happy together. And I feel like that just proves my point, and this happens like all the time. One of my boyfriend's good friends, he did the same thing. He had like 4 kids, went on a mission, got married in the temple, and like, it's funny because when they seal you in the temple, they like say it's for time and all eternity. And so it's like, it just feels so manipulative. you'll be with your family even after death, which I think is kind of manipulative and sad. At least from my viewpoint now, since I don't believe in any of it. It's like they kind of just try to sell you on all these little things, like, oh, life after death will be so perfect and blah blah blah. Anyways, that type of stuff is really sad to me when people just force themselves to, be straight or whatever. And yeah, even like it took me a long time to get to where I am now with like my beliefs and stuff. Even when I first started dating my boyfriend, I remember asking him like, do you believe in life after death? And he said no. And I remember being like, what? Like, you just think we're here for no reason? I was like so shocked. Because I guess it was just ingrained in my head that like there is life after death. Like, I was taught that my entire life. And I was like, how could he not believe in it? But now, like I said, I consider myself atheist now, and I'm like, if there's no life after death, so be it. Like, I literally don't care. And that used to scare me, but I think the more I've like processed my thoughts and feelings on it, the more I've learned to like accept it, like we're all gonna die no matter what. And I've kind of researched like what it's like to die, because I'm curious, because there's certain stories out there where people are like, oh, I saw God and I went to heaven for like 5 minutes and came back to life. And it's been like researched like scientifically, whatever, and apparently like when you die, your brain releases like a bunch of chemicals and it can make you hallucinate and see all these things, right? And I think that that's just what that is, and people think that they're actually like in heaven and stuff, but they're not, which is kind of scary to think about, I guess. It can be like scary. But there's this YouTuber named Claire Wineland. I don't know if you guys know of her. I learned about her through watching Shane Dawson's old videos, but she had cystic fibrosis, like terminal, really bad, and she was like my age, like 20 something, and she actually died a couple years ago. And she talked about the time that she like flatlined and stuff before, and what it was like moments where you were actually like dead, and like what it is like. And she said that it was just nothing. It's like you're sleeping without dreams. And I kind of was looking on like Reddit and stuff because I was curious about it, and that's what most people said. It's like you're asleep without dreams, and I'm like, that doesn't sound bad, honestly. And so, that's kind of what I think death is now. And I honestly kind of like the thought of there not being life after death. It kind of makes everything seem pointless and like nothing matters. But it also makes me want to have like a meaningful life and leave behind, like, I don't know, like Rizvan, my partner, they believe, so his religion is Baha'i, and they believe in like leaving behind a legacy, which I think is kind of cool. That is like your life after death, like the memory of you type of thing, and like what you accomplished and whatever. So I don't know, I think it's kind of comforting knowing that we're all gonna die. And life is short and nothing really matters. I don't know, I kind of like that, because when I was Mormon, you feel a lot of pressure to like live a amazing life, and you have to, get married and have kids to access like the highest kingdom of heaven. Like, there's so much pressure, and it just is overwhelming. And so I'm just happy that I don't have to deal with that anymore, But I guess, yeah, that's kind of something that I guess like just slowly over time, like I went from Mormon to agnostic, and then just gradually, I guess, I have slowly become atheist, where I don't even like want there to be a God. Like, 100%. And, you know, the Mormon church always claims that they were the one true church, and the person who founded the church, Joseph Smith, he was only 14 when he founded it, and they claimed that, you know, Joseph Smith was in the forest one day, and, like, Jesus and God appeared to him, and blah, 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 right? So, you know, every religion has their, like, backstories and all that, but at the end of the day, they're all man-made. Like, people can claim that they've seen God and all this stuff, but I honestly think that religion is just a way for people to feel like there's a meaning in life, and life has a purpose, and it guides them through life. Like, religion is just guidelines for your life to help you navigate life. Because if you think about it, it can be so confusing, because it's like, why am I here, you know? And I've heard a lot of negative things about, like, atheist people, like, oh, they don't believe in anything, and they don't have morals, and blah, 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 but I do, you know? I just don't really believe in, like, a life after death, or a God, or a true church, or anything like that. But even then, like, I don't even know, like, that's not even fact, that's just, like, what I believe, you know? I can't know for sure that there is or isn't a God. And if there is, like, I honestly think that if you live life as a good person and do good things and treat people well, like, what is there to worry about? Even if you are gay, straight, lesbian, transgender, whatever. Like, if you're a good person, that's all I think that matters in life. Regardless of if there is a God or not, just be a good person. So, I don't know. Anyways, I guess that's my journey that I've been on, and one thing that still kind of is interesting is, like, I think since I was Mormon for so long, it was, like, ingrained in my head that I couldn't be gay, and, like, I was always worried about being, like, disowned by my family, and I was, like, traumatized by that when I was struggling with coming out of the closet and stuff, right? So some days, like, I don't know why, but I wake up and I have, like, this really weird feeling of anxiety of, like, I live with my boyfriend, I am not Mormon anymore, like, how does my family feel about it? I don't know, like, it's this really weird feeling of anxiety, and I hate it. And, you know, it's gotten better over the years, but it's like, I think it's just like a trauma thing, like, it's weird, and it, like, messes with my head sometimes. I don't know why it's always when I wake up. I think because my mind is so, like, open when I first wake up. I don't know. But yeah, my life is so much better since I left religion behind, and I'm so happy I did. And it's funny because I didn't think I would be this happy. You know, when I first left the church, I was scared my life was going to be miserable, and it's so much better. Anyways, thank you so much, Princess, Will, Len Solo, Colleen, Travis Pinto, Julian, Cesar Lopez, Adam Ferguson, Blaine B, Jamesy, Jeremiah Johnson, Talon, Alistair, Quentin, Jake, and Jumpscare. You guys are my top patrons this month. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you guys sleep well. I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one.